So here we go. And it's going to be great. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to be with you. Like I've
Yeah,
been
definitely.
dying for this moment and then had to put it off and had to put it off. And so it's awesome that you're here. I appreciate it so much.
Of
And
course.
yeah, I'm excited just to have a great conversation.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
yeah, so let's get going. Welcome to the show. I'm so happy that you're
Yeah.
here. You're going to be so happy you're here. I'm Kim Sorrelle. I write, I speak. I get to do so many fun things in life. But my favorite thing to do by far is to meet people, and I get to meet some extraordinary people. And today I have someone who I met, gosh, it's almost a year ago already, I think,
Yeah.
Derin, which is crazy. But I was speaking at the UN and I met Derin and was so impressed from the second I met him. And you're going to love him, and we're going to have a great conversation. Derin, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm really happy to be here.
Yeah, well, thanks so much for being here. So you're an extraordinary guy. Uh, you are, how old are you now? You had a
I'm
birthday,
15. Yeah,
15. Okay. Happy 15th birthday, whenever that was.
thank
And
you.
yeah, because I think you were 14 when we met, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And so going to 16 in 2 months now.
16
Yeah.
and 2 months, driver's
Yeah.
license, all that kind of fun stuff,
Mhm.
maybe. Yeah. So Darren is not you're not the usual 15-year-old kid. As many 15-year-old kids as I've known over the years, which is a lot, you are extraordinary. One of the things that you've done is you've started this youth initiative that is fabulous. You've spoken at the UN now. How many times have you spoken at the UN?
About 10.
10 times at the United Nations you have spoken.
Yeah.
And when was the first time you spoke at the UN?
Um, I think actually it's kind of a really cool backstory behind it. So it was about 13 months ago in July 2025. And so it's a really great story because me and my friend, who's also doing stuff at the UN with my organization, so we decided to go. I mean, before my organization was really anything large, we decided to go to this event by a youth organization at the UN, and this event was really just a kind of a get ready for the event called the High Level Political Forum or HLPF. And so the funny thing was, like, this was a prep meeting for that real conference. But I mean, me and my friend weren't registered for that conference at all. My friend and I like went there just to meet a few people and just learn a bit more about the space. And then I mean, to think that if I hadn't went there, my life could have been very different than it is now. Because when I went there, right before we were about to leave, they said like we have three open conference tickets if anyone wants to, badges if anyone wants to register. And then me and my friend and I raised our hands first, and then we got that, and kind of it's just been just really like compounded and like snowballed from there, I think. And that was really the first moment. And then like a few days later, I think a week after that, I ended up making my first speech or intervention by just raising my hand at an event and asking a question slash statement on sorts of youth inclusion. And so I think it was definitely great.
Yeah, yeah. Isn't it amazing that those moments in life that you kind of go, should we go? Shouldn't we go? And then you
Yeah,
go and you're like, holy cow, where would I be now had I not gone to that event?
yeah,
And but
definitely.
you started your organization before then.
Yeah. Um, so I'll actually give a bit of backstory. So SDG Youth Connect, now it is Youth Connect, but it used to be SDG Kids Connect. And I started this around late 2023. And it was a very small thing. It was just a website with a very small game that I'd coded that's just like kind of a quiz game for the SDGs because at my school, I had created this thing called the SDG Club. It was my eighth grade, my middle school back then. And so we did very few local initiatives, but there were local initiatives that were impactful. For example, I think we raised about like $2,800. Um, as this middle school club, we partnered with a restaurant, two restaurants here and there, and just try to kind of make some sort of impact with SDGs. And then when we did raise that much money, but of course, I mean, in retrospect, that's not too much, but really, as a group of like 10, 15, 20 middle school kids, that was something that was really influential for us. And I mean, I'd say it is very important that people at that age, more people do that. And of course, I'll get into that later. And I realized like this doesn't just have to be in my local town of Ridgewood, New Jersey. It could really like grow past that. It could become something that's national wide and then regional wide. And now, of course, I mean, internationally in over 60 nations. And so I think it's really just something that started again from me realizing that it doesn't have to stay local, it can grow and it has the potential to grow. And the moment you just take the effort, you just say, let's do this instead of like shying away. I think that was the point where it really started for me.
Yeah, that's so cool. Okay, so we'll explain the SDG though, because some people don't
Yeah.
understand that.
Of
So
course. Yeah. So the SDGs, to clarify, are the Sustainable Development Goals. And the Sustainable Development Goals were um, created by the United Nations in 2015, um, part of a larger 2030 global agenda. And similar at the similar time, for example, in 2015, you might know the Paris Treaty on Climate that came around the exact same time when we were thinking about similar things. And so the SDGs are 17 global goals that address major problems. For example, SDG 1 is no poverty, SDG 4 is quality education, SDG 7 is affordable and clean energy, and SDG 13 is climate action. And there's so many like these that work on different problems such as poverty, hunger, health, labor, water and sanitation, really so many different issues, strong institutions and no corruption. So there's really a plethora of issues that these SDGs address. And so I think the major part that my organization, SDGs Connect, tries to address is that there is 3.5 years left for these goals. Um, and as of now, as of most recent information available, 51% of the goals and their sub targets, they have like sub targets, like, for example, SDG 4.2. They have sub targets. So 51% of the targets are on track. 35% have not moved at all in the last about 12, 11 years. And 15% about have unfortunately regressed since 2015.
mm,
And so that is kind of the issue that us at SDGs Connect, we try to address as a youth led movement. We're really trying to raise awareness, advocate, and take action on the SDGs in the last 3.5 years that we have.
wow, yeah, that's amazing. That is so amazing. I know that
Yeah.
sustainability is a big thing for you.
Mhm.
Ending poverty is a big thing for you.
Yeah.
Um, that you just have a heart for people and for changing the world and know that it's possible, that it can change.
Yeah.
Um, and so I love it that you know that it can change because I'm with you 100%.
Yeah.
I think sometimes people look at issues and they go, "Oh man, it's too big. Like, how can we ever move the needle? Like, what can ever change?" Well,
Yeah.
it takes somebody believing it can change.
Exactly.
Start and then go, okay, let's do this thing. Let's go for it. So you started this organization. First of all, I have to go back to your $2,800. That is a lot of money for middle school kids to raise. That's a lot of money. And the
Yeah.
reality is every dollar counts,
Yeah.
every single one. So don't ever let anybody tell you, that's not that much. That is a ton. That's a lot.
Yeah.
And for people listening, that's probably more than a lot of people have given
Yeah.
to help
Yeah.
these areas, poverty and clean water and sanitation and
Yeah.
the things that need to be done in our world. And so good for you. Kudos to you and your friends. And then now, so you started it and now you're in 60 countries.
Yeah.
Holy
Six
cow.
nations.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing.
Thank you.
Tell me, how did you
Of
spread the
course.
word? Yeah.
So, I think I'd kind of like to preface before I fully answer that question with, as you said, I think one of the main, I would say, like mentalities that I've really put on myself is, I mean, every little small thing when compounded can become a huge and have a huge impact. And I mean, of course, we've always heard that maybe in different ways or capacities, but we've always heard that throughout our lives. And I just like to say, I mean, if if you have those small actions and just have them at a global scale, then those actions become global in themselves and they become high impact. And so, kind of to return to the question that you asked, so I would say the most key factor that I kind of the way I expanded to 60 nations was through using my peers and youth just like me, because there's so many young people around the world who are just as passionate as me to really work for the SDGs. And I'd say one of the main drivers for this is because we know if the current leaders that are not prioritizing the SDGs don't accomplish these SDGs, and clearly right now they unfortunately are not, we're as youth, we are the ones who are going to face the largest amount of the consequence. And so we want to right now take on the role of not just the future leaders, but the leaders of now too, so that we can really push governments, push international institutions to really focus on the SDGs as much as they can in these last 3.5 years to really turn around, because it can be turned around. There is never no last hope. Hope is decreasing, yes, but with collective action, that hope can turn right around and really go forward. But to kind of in like two words, I'll say the way our organization grew was social media. So social media has become such a, I mean, Instagram and Meta in general have like 4 billion users. And so, and for example, platforms like LinkedIn have also a high percentage, a high share of global users on social media. And so, Instagram, LinkedIn, Reddit, and other social media platforms were really where we helped expand SDGs Connect. It started with a few Instagram and LinkedIn posts that I made to find directors. I started originally in Africa because I had actually had and someone now who really works well with me and is my great colleague, Samuel. He reached out to me, and he's only a college student in Lagos, Nigeria. He'd reached out to me saying, I saw your SDG Youth Connect, and I really want to get involved and help expand it. And so it started there. And then really through social media, we had rapid growth through Africa originally, and then we expanded into Europe and what is now our regions in the Americas too. And so I think it was really just a matter of social media, using the power of social media to reach young people just like us. And of course, along the way, we face challenges of overexpansion or non-commitment because of the nature of social media. But I think now that we're a bit of more of a mature organization, we're able to start managing those a bit better and really focusing on making sure our organization has committed and fiery, actionable youth. And so I think that's really great.
Yeah, that is so cool. I love it. And yeah, social media, holy cow.
Yeah,
What an incredible tool. Because,
yeah,
2 years ago, when that tool didn't exist, it would be awfully hard to reach
exactly.
that number of people, and especially that
Yeah,
quickly. And so, yay, social media, for the things that
yeah,
people knock it about, there certainly are good
yeah,
ways to use it as well. And we certainly have
yeah,
figured that
yeah,
out. So that's cool. And so a lot of it is awareness, right? Like
yeah,
I think we go about our daily lives, and especially here in the US, we just walk over to the faucet and we put a glass underneath and we turn the handle and we have
yeah,
clean water that doesn't make us
yeah,
sick. No diseases contained in our water, unless you're in Flint, Michigan or somewhere, where
yeah,
water's gone bad, but hopefully Flint's been cleaned up since other
yeah,
things. But otherwise, I mean, we take so much for granted,
yeah,
and where most of the world does not live like we live. The
yeah,
majority of the of people living on the face of the earth do not live like we live. But it's easy to make the assumption that they do because it's what we know. And so if you don't ever get outside and
yeah,
travel and go see how other people live, you're never going to understand what it's like. What it's like. Like I've been in like Burkina Faso in West Africa,
yeah,
right? I think it borders Nigeria, actually,
yeah,
speaking
yeah,
of Nigeria. Sub-Saharan West Africa, no natural resources, horrible weather, right? I mean, it's hot, hot,
Yeah.
hot, hot, hot. And
Yeah.
and they suffer actual drought and they suffer famine, things
Yeah.
that you think, how are people suffering those things these days? Like, where's the resources that where women and children walk for miles every day to get water because you need water every single day.
Yeah.
And
And oh
yeah,
yeah, sorry to interrupt you, of course. I
oh,
just
you're
wanted to
good.
like
Go ahead.
add my perspective. And like so yeah, I think that's actually something I've seen. So SDGs Connect, of course, we're based in Burkina Faso and so many other nations in West Africa, Sub-Saharan Africa too. And so something that you see and you really come to realize the more you work in the space of sustainability is, I mean, no matter where you are, how genuinely fortunate you are and how we take so many things for granted. I mean, as you said, water, I think 700 million, according to recent estimates, people don't have access to any water, and that's not even considering and like clean drinking water. And another crazy stat is 2 points. We're talking right now about AI, the digital era, artificial intelligence agents, AI automating our workspaces, etc. While 2.6 billion people don't have access to the internet, and another, I think, 700 to 800 million people don't have access to simple electricity. And these are problems that, like, when you really think about it on a global scale, and I think that mentality of a global thinking, of intercultural thinking, of thinking about the world is what can really drive your passion to contribute for the world in whatever way that might be for you. Um, but I think that passion you get when you realize, look at the place I'm in and look at the place that so many millions, hundreds of millions, if not billions of people are in. So you just realize I need to help level the playing ground. I like it's just like it's kind of like a lottery, right? Like I feel like I got on the lucky part of the lottery to be born here where I am in the stats in like the kind of the status and the place I am when there's so many other people who got more unlucky than me and all of course people who got more lucky than me, but majority of people who got way more unlucky than me. And so it's just something that is so important to like internalize because the moment I internalize that, I realize that something like the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals, is what could kind of guide my thinking to really make an actual impact to help people.
Yeah, that's so good. That's so good.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're so right. I mean, it's if you don't know anybody or you don't go anywhere or whatever, like you can read about things and whatever, but when you put a face to an issue, it changes
Yeah.
things, right? So like when you know somebody who's living in a place that doesn't have what we have, like I
Yeah.
for whatever reason, Derin, I want to ask you about this.
Of
For
course.
whatever reason, it seems like kids go away to college,
Mhm.
and one of the things that they take home their freshman year is how bad our country is. And they would rather live anywhere else but here. And we're all going to pot. And,
Yeah.
everybody's bad and everything's bad. And uh, I'm not 100% sure why that happens. I mean, you go and you hear different perspectives and whatever. But when it comes down to it, if if you can live in a country that has clean water where
Yeah.
you're eating you're eating every day, right? I mean, the
Yeah.
high majority of Americans do have food every
Yes.
day. If for some
Yeah.
reason they don't have the money to pay for it, there's access to food.
Food
We've got
stamps. Yeah.
safety nets, right? Lots of countries there's no safety nets. If you
Yeah.
lose your job or you have no money, sorry, you're just out of luck. And so what is your perspective on that?
Yeah, definitely. And as you mentioned, even if those like social protections are slowly being trying to be phased away in recent administration in the United States, it's still like it shows like as you said, I mean, I think one of the reasons why, for example, as people go off to live by themselves and really gain a global awareness, or I would say, I guess on that case, a national awareness of what their country is like, and of course, as they start getting into politics as they are going to, at the age of being active voter, have to start worrying about legislation and all that. You get that national perspective. You really, education, especially higher education, is a place, as you said, where you see so many different perspectives and people from so many different places that can really enlighten you and understand, help you understand like the negatives of the nation. We see as unfortunately as people, and this is like these studies have been done for, we see more of the negatives than the positives always in anything. We remember the negatives more. And I think that it's just really a matter of now try to think a bit more about the positives, and you can see the positives when you look at the United States in comparison to nations around the world. Um, and really, there can't be any straight nation to nation comparison because there's so many different aspects of the world. Like, you can't, I mean, even if you're trying to, you can't just say, let me compare the United States and Switzerland, the United States and China, or the United States and Nigeria, or the United States and India, right? Because they're all, whether geopolitically, um, whether socially, whether culturally, they're all going to be different. And so it's more of a matter of let me understand where my nation is. I'll try to help my nation improve. And whether I disagree or agree with current administration, current legislation, that's up to me, of course. But in my own view, how can I help people and how can I help myself and the world and the nation? And so once you adapt that mindset, you see, yes, our nation is deteriorating or improving, but you still see that our nation, in this case, the United States or whatever nation you may be from, is um, still in this aspect, I'm lucky because our nation is, let's say, more politically stable or has support systems to help, for example, farmers in drought or support systems to help people in need of after a hurricane or a disaster. Because, for example, I mean, you can think of many nations where examples where that doesn't happen. For example, Haiti is politically unstable and unfortunately faces many earthquakes and natural disasters without much of a government support system to help them due to the political instability. I mean, these SDGs, these goals, kind of like different aspects of social, governmental, political life, they compound onto each other. They're never like kind of siloed. They're all within and working with each other as kind of this circle or like this just like this space where these goals where these like different aspects of life are like floating around and interacting with each other in all cases.
Yeah, yeah, it's so true. It's so true. Yeah. So Haiti, it's interesting you mentioned Haiti. Haiti's a place I've
Yeah,
spent a whole lot of time yeah, and there's people that are leaving Haiti. Like on
yeah,
this show, I got to say, I try not to get into politics because
mhm,
I truly believe whatever you want. Like I'm
yeah,
not going to change anybody's mind.
of course,
And yeah, just everybody, I mean, that's part of the freedom of being here. Like just believe
mhm,
however you want to believe, and everybody's going to have
yeah,
opinions.
definitely,
I think the difference to me though is it's things that shouldn't be confrontations. Like there should be able to be discussion around things rather than
yeah,
just, oh, if you believe this way, you're
yeah,
stupid, or
exactly.
whatever, right? Like,
Polarization is such a
holy cow, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Well, yeah, but it's not true. I mean, we all believe the way we do because
yeah,
of the days we've lived so far, and so the
yeah,
things that we've learned, the things that we've seen, around us, and so like immigration is such a big issue, and we're talking about people from countries like Haiti that if I was a mama in Haiti, I would get in a rowboat and come across the ocean to give my family
yeah,
a better chance. Like I would do anything I could to get out of that country and come to a place where my kids can have an education,
yeah,
where they can have a hope for a future, where they can have a hope to get out of poverty.
yeah,
And so many people are just because of their life experience, because of the days they've walked, they're very cut and dry about no, this shouldn't happen. And part of my opinion is we're the ones that drew the maps,
yeah,
right? We're the ones that put up borders. We're the ones that
yeah,
decided what land's going to be ruled by who and what land's going to be called what. But
yeah,
when it comes down to it, we're all people and people
yeah,
are people all over the world. And so
yeah,
when we start to separate and we go, well, no, we're Americans, therefore we get, and oh,
yeah,
they're Mexican, therefore they get, they're Indian, therefore they get,
yeah,
it's like, well, No, we all have a name. And that's where it should start, is get to
Yeah,
know a person and before you make a judgment. And that's part of what I really like about your organization and being in 60 nations, because it's very much a global perspective. It's not a
yeah,
us versus them, or we're doing, they're not, or anything like that. It's like, hey, we're all in this together. How can we make the world a
yeah,
better place?
yeah. And I think like something I definitely agree with you on is I think you really have to embrace that multicultural perspective and just like understand where everyone is coming from. I mean, I myself, I have like different perspectives. I'm a Turkish American, and my entire family bloodline, um besides, I mean, I'm the only person who was born outside of Turkey in my entire family. And I always go back to Turkey. I'm very connected with my Turkish culture as well as, of course, my American culture where I live right now. But I mean, even besides that, you have to understand there's so many unique perspectives, and that they can only be unlocked by being curious to understand those perspectives. And that's also one of the reasons why we talked about how social media is all really good. But of course, one of the negatives of social media is that such a like increased amount of like potential polarization of beliefs. I mean, because social media tries to give you like material and like feeds that will keep you on the algorithm, keep you going on the app. I mean, that's their main goal, of course. They're a for-profit organization. That is what they would aim for. And so because of that, for example, let's say two random names, let's say Maya and Jimmy, right? Let's say Maya is on the conservative side, and on Instagram and on whatever, on TikTok, whatever social media she's on, she's starting to see more conservative, way more conservative stuff than neutral or liberal information, and that's going to obviously put someone, and that's not the person's fault at all. I mean, if you're seeing like 95% of one thing and 5% of other things, you're going to be inclined to believe in and support and like kind of put yourself in that 95%. And the same thing for Jimmy. Let's say Jimmy is more of a liberal person, and he's seeing liberal stuff and social democratic feeds, etc., on social media. He is going to be on that 95%. And so it's really just how can we bring this multicultural, multi-perspective landscape to people? Because if they, the moment they understand that, then their mind will like open to understanding that maybe there's a reason why Maya believes in these, and I'm just maybe not considering that, and vice versa. I mean, like for example, people have different priorities. People who live in an urban city or a rural area, who lived in as an upper class person or as lower class or middle class. So many different socioeconomic and also just like family differences, cultural differences, that it's just impossible to truly understand and like collaborate and really converse with people in a genuinely productive way without understanding where they're coming from first.
Yeah, that's so true. That's so true. And so then, yeah, then it ends up being, we put labels on people, and
Yeah,
that's how we identify them. And we're not our
yeah,
labels. People are not their labels. There might be a club you belong to, a party you belong to, a country you were born in,
yeah,
whatever. But when it comes down to it, the labels, um, aren't your true identifiers. You are
yeah,
you, period. And even within the groups, the conservative group, not everybody believes exactly the same just because they're conservative, or just
yeah,
because they're people.
exactly.
And so conversation ought to be able to happen rather than confrontations, or rather than calling people names or calling out
Yeah,
whole people groups and saying they are because, whatever, because
exactly.
none of that is true. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So I think part of the whole thing is tearing those labels off and going, okay, it's you and me and a whole lot of other people walking
Yeah.
on the same ground. So what can we do to help each other?
Yeah.
And and I think that that's part of it, right? Is having a desire to actually help each other.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, as you said, it's just we are all people. We all have a human heart. And however different your brain might be aiming, we still have that heart. And so it's just, and of course, it's metaphorical. And I'm not trying to get into the anatomy of stuff, but um, like, I just believe every person has deserves the right to be treated as a person, just as equal as me or you or really any of the 8 billion plus people on this world. I mean, they are people and they deserve to be treated with equal respect, equal opinions. They deserve to have the equal liberties and rights that they deserve. And however they treat that, that's up to them. That's an individual perspective. But you must try your best to support people and really level the playing ground. I mean, that's just something that I like feel so passionate for, and that's why I pursue the SDGs through SDGs Connect, through speaking at the UN, through my own SDGs Connect advocacy events and action like food drives, health interventions, etc., across the world. And that's because people don't have in no way the same experience in one thing that as another person. Everyone has a unique experience, and unfortunately, these experiences are very imbalanced. What I don't know what you can blame this on. You can blame this on um, you can blame this on nurture, nature. You can blame this on existential inequalities that exist before these people were born. Just starting off on the wrong foot. I mean, there's so many different things, but it's just really a matter of how can I make it so that everyone has an equal opportunity. And it's, of course, it is up to them and how we can guide them towards taking that opportunity and making the best of it in their own perspectives and their own ways. Everyone has unique perspectives and views.
Mm, so true. That was so
Yeah.
good. What you just said is
Yeah.
absolutely right. That's so good. I think there's this misconception. I'm
Yeah.
curious if this is something you've seen or something you've thought
Mhm.
about or something you know to be true, but like this misconception that if somebody else gets more, then somehow I'm going to have less. And so,
Yeah.
right? Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've actually seen that a lot. So, I mean, of course, I'm also a high school student, and I go to a school that, just to give context, I go to a private school with a scholarship, and so people around me are all maybe some people have scholarship, maybe some people pay the full fee, and already there you see those differences. Yet it's so important to understand those differences and understand each other because we all have different struggles. We all have different things that we benefit from. You can never just say this person has it better off than me because you can never understand the full picture. And so, of course, maybe in one aspect or another, you can say that. But for example, you could say this person has millions of dollars, but for example, maybe they don't have a stable family life, or this person is on the poverty line, but they have supporting parents and they have other people which are always trying to help them, etc. And so it's just everyone has different perspectives, and the key thing is understanding those and also making sure that you understand, look, by helping others, I'm not taking away from myself. um, the the wealth imbalance and among many other imbalances and inequalities in the world is very large, and I can't solve that by myself. And my helping others won't make an impact on my own wealth. I mean, everything comes back. Like giving will come back to you in a good way. I mean, whether that be your own peace of mind, whether that be other people helping you when you're in need for something. I mean, helping people will always it's a mutual thing. You don't just help people randomly, whether it be helping, donating to an organization, for example, like SDGs Connect, for them to have action, take action on a global scale. When, for example, when you're in need, and I'm just giving you an example from my organization, we'd always be willing to help you or address something that you want to be addressed because it is something that an organization um, of people, groups of people, communities help each other, groups help each other. no matter what, you'll always have a support system. You always have people to fall back onto. You're never, almost 99.99% of the time, you're never going to have a system where you help others and they will not be willing to help you back.
That's so true. That's so true. It's something I learned a long time ago is that you kind of can't outgive. Like,
Yeah.
anytime that you give, anytime that you help somebody, it
Yeah.
comes back to you. Not that you're doing it to
Yeah.
have something to come back to you, but it's just the way life works. It's just the way the
Yeah.
universe works that it just comes back to you. And so you're not going to, it doesn't take away from you to help people. It actually enhances you. It actually benefits you in so many
Yeah.
ways. So there should never be this mentality of, well, shoot, there's only so much, it's
Mhm.
this scarcity mentality that there's a bucket. And if part of the bucket goes out here, it means it's not going to come to me. Well, no, there's
Yeah.
not just a bucket. There's no scarcity. There's
Mhm.
always more. And so it's interesting, um,
Yeah,
people's
definitely.
perceptions and just not knowing, to no fault to anybody. It's just not knowing, not
Yeah.
understanding. And so, yeah, so when you go and you see these real issues in real time and recognize that it's not something people are making up or uh overstating, like making too big a deal out of something. Things exist that shouldn't exist in the world. And if
Yeah.
we all did something, the world would be a whole different place. And
Yeah.
so, yeah. So what do you say to people who are reluctant about getting involved in anything? Um,
Yeah.
what do you say?
Yeah. So I think actually, something that I really want to mention and really emphasize is there is no one way to give. Giving doesn't mean donating. Giving doesn't mean taking action individually. Giving is a very broad term that means helping someone in any capacity you can. And um, this really is, I mean, based on how you help, it can depend a lot on your values. For example, just to give it my own personal perspective, so my family, we come from, especially my grandparents and my father and my mother, we come from a very middle to low income background in Turkey. And just to give perspective, for example, I was in my bloodline, I was the fifth person to go to high school. Um, not even graduate, but go to high school. So one of the values, very important values in my family, my nuclear family, but also my extended family, is education. Education is so important. And we really prioritize that and put that on high importance. So, for example, for us, my parents donate to initiatives and help out themselves. They always, for example, donate their own old books or my old textbooks to libraries to help people who don't have the access to textbooks to help them and help them get those access, get that education that they deserve and that they should have as a right, as a fundamental right. But for example, from other perspectives, I mean, if you have different values, you can donate. For example, if you care about the climate, because whether it affected you personally or you see it affecting others, you don't have to. Not everything it has to be tied to financial money. Of course, monetary can help a lot, monetary donations, etc. But also, if you can just convince you, your family, and a few of your friends to take 5 minute showers instead of 10. Or if you can tell everyone to stop running the faucet while they're brushing their teeth. Like there are so many small things that, as I said earlier, and as you said, of course, Kim, too, if you compound on a large scale, they're going to have a genuine impact. And so the kind of the concept of giving is something that's very broad. And so for you to give, there's really no boundary. Giving might just be helping your friends clean up their garage on a Sunday. It could also be um, it could also be accompanying someone to an event on climate or a food drive, right? It's something that is in when you think about your broader life and when you think about the hours that you spent doing other things, you realize if I just give this much, is it really going to take much out of my life? But how much will it give back to me in terms of my peace of mind, in terms of my understanding that I am genuinely helping people, real people out there with what I'm doing, and I'm giving back to the community and to the world to make it a better place.
Yeah, I love that you said that. Everything that you just said is so true and so good because it's not, I think that's another thing that can mess people up
Yeah,
and say, well, I can't do that because I can't go to Haiti and go help people there, or I
yeah,
can't, like there's some big move that you have to make. But you're absolutely right. Helping is giving and help is so broad. And it could be helping your neighbor bring their groceries in, I mean,
exactly.
whatever it is, but it's doing something, looking outside yourself and doing something and
Yeah,
realizing that all those little things, like you said, it's the butterfly effect, right? Like they're
yeah,
all going to compound and that's what's going to change the world. And so
yeah,
and you give out of where your passions lie, where your heart is, like your folks with education. And
yeah,
it's so important to them. And other people have other things that are so
of
important.
course.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, something I just like to say, and it's something I've noticed with myself, with others around me, the people in my organization, is, and it's just really a matter of fact that um, when you start doing these small things, as you said, helping the neighbor bring the groceries in, or helping someone clean out their garage, or donating a few books to a free library, or whatever it may be, as based on your values, your own values, you start to develop more of an open mindset. You start to see that if I can help one person, for example, by bringing in their groceries, then maybe I can help five by doing this. Or if I can help this person by cleaning up their garage or donating books to a library, maybe I can help 10, 15. And you start to think more with an innovative mindset. Like, how can I make it so that I and people around me can have more access to helping others? Because one of the main things, again, is awareness. I mean, if people understand the sheer amount of issues that society have, because a lot of them lie under the carpet. I mean, you have to lift that carpet. You have to have the interest to lift that carpet to really understand the issues that society face, both on a local, state, national, international level. And so it's really just starts with, if you start with small actions, a lot of people have the tendency to continue to go forward, to try to scale it up. That's what happened to me and SDG Youth Connect, and it can happen to so many others, and it has happened to so many others around the world. You just start at a small scale, and from there, if you can just keep moving, keep growing, keep thinking of how I could help more people at the same time, that is really the mentality and kind of the passion that, once people obtain that passion by starting small, it can really be the passion that could help the world out, as it needs it so much right now.
Well stated. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. And if anybody has any questions about what can you do, just look around you, look around and
Yeah,
look for a need and see what you can do to help. So I've got a question for you.
of
I
course.
want to know who first believed
Believe in me. Yeah.
you?
Um, I think that's a hard question. I think um, there have been a lot of people who've believed in me throughout my life, thankfully, and I'm very grateful for that. But I think it'd start with my parents, my dad and my mom. They really, um, they were the first people to believe in me that I could do great things for myself, for my family, and for the world. Um, I mean, thankfully, my dad and my mom raised me in a way to kind of put the global good at utmost importance, because, of course, their own perspectives, and kind of the perspectives that I grew off of, and I heard from my parents, and I saw when I went to Turkey or nations around the world. Um, that really helped me. Um, I mean, of course,
Mm.
um, not everyone is able to go to Turkey. I have the fortunate to, or like any nation, their own home nation. I'm not necessarily Turkey, but for me, Turkey, they're back to their kind of their mother and their father's like where they grew up, to see where they grew up, and to see perspectives there. Because the moment you just have the luck to, I mean, especially with the internet and so many materials outside, so much information available to the individual person. If you just have the curiosity to and um, go and learn, go and see where are my parents' worries coming from? Where do my teachers what are they based off of? What are they thinking of? If you just understand that, whether that be searching it up or whether it be talking with them, I think really asking is such an important thing. Just say, like, why do you think that? That is such an important thing that is being ignored, because I mean that's one of the reasons why politics has become so polarized. And again, don't want to go too much in that, but um, if you're just asking this one person, why do you think that? That opens so many opportunities for you to meet a common ground. If you understand where they're coming from, and if they understand where you're coming from, that opens a multitude of ways to agree instead of disagree. And so I think, but really, in terms of someone who believed in me, I think, as I said earlier, it would be my parents first, and definitely my friends and my peers. I mean, in different ways, of course, but they believed in me as a friend. They believed in me as someone who could do something for them, be their great friend. And it's just really that belief exists in almost everyone, whether they express it or not. That's different, but that belief in someone, you definitely believe or trust someone. So just reach out to that belief, reach out to that trust, and more than anything, spread it. I mean, tell someone that you love what they're doing, or you believe in them, you think they could genuinely make an impact, you think they could genuinely do A, B, or C. Just tell them. The spread of kindness, the spread of love, the spread of belief, trust is so important. And I think that again is something that, if increased at a global scale, starting local, starting within your neighborhood, within your house, that is really that's something that could be extremely important.
Mm, so well said. That's so good. Yeah, I love it that your parents have instilled things in you
Yeah,
that and you recognize that is so cool. And that your friends, that you know that your friends
yeah,
believe in you as well. And I absolutely agree with you. Like if you have somebody in your life that has been that for you, that
yeah,
your third grade teacher, whoever it happens to be, but that
yeah,
first sort of believed in you, then go be that for somebody else. Go,
yeah,
go be that for somebody else. Return that, make that continue on, that
yeah,
wonderful, incredible belief. Because unfortunately, there are people that can't answer that question,
yeah,
and because they've never felt believed in. So go
yeah,
believe in people and realize,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. And I love too what you said about find out why people believe the way they do. Don't
yeah,
just say, well, they're wrong, or
yeah,
because it's different than the way you believe that they just are uneducated, or whatever people tend to think.
yeah,
But find out why is it that you believe that way? Because
yeah,
we're all walking the same earth, but none of us are walking in the same shoes. So
yeah,
there's a reason that today this is what I believe. And I think another really important thing is that you can change that belief
yeah,
as you grow, and as you learn, and as you're exposed to things, and to have conversations and whatever. That I think
yeah,
we need to give each other the freedom to change and evolve and grow. And
yeah,
the way you believed something 5 years ago, you see differently today, and that's fine. That's a good thing. There's nothing wrong with that. So we need to give each other grace. Sometimes I think just go, yeah,
yeah, definitely.
yeah, go be you. You go be you. So this is so good. I just, Derin, I hope I know you forever, because I just want to follow you and watch the cool things that happen in your life, and the cool things that you do, because I know that once something like this is in your heart, it's not going to go away. It's just going to expand. And
Yeah,
so wherever life leads you and takes you, uh, I love what you're doing. And I love that you're going to change the world, that you're a catalyst to change the world, and that 60 nations of people, there's people in 60 nations that agree with you and also want to change the world for the better. So it's so good. So uh, some kids your age are just out playing soccer, which is great. Go play soccer, or playing video games or whatever. And you said, hey, I'm going to start this organization because holy cow, the United Nations, how are they possibly going to get this done by 2030? Everything was supposed to be done by 2030, right? Like the
Yeah,
whole water issue in the world, the goal was it was going to be solved by 2030. And
yeah,
we're not, it will take a miracle. It will take all of us to solve that issue by 2030. And
yeah.
any of the other issues that are on there, what are the biggest ones of that list? Like, what do you think are the most crucial, or what are closest to your heart?
Yeah. And I just kind of like to preface that in the sense that like other people my age, 15, 16, younger, older, they're not it's not that they don't care. I mean, I have so many friends that care just as much as me and are passionate on other issues that I don't have as much of an understanding on. And there are so many people who genuinely want to make an impact, want to make a change in what they believe needs to be changed in the world. And in no way am I above them. I mean, and I'm not saying that you suggested that, of course, but in no way am I above them because I play soccer too. I play video games with my friends. I am someone who sometimes falls to the trap of social media's political polarization. In no way am I perfect either. It's just I was lucky enough to have that understanding that the problems that face this world cannot be delayed until I go to college or until I graduate, until I start working. I have to start addressing them now. We have to, as youth, as young, as the just every person in the world, has to start addressing them now because sooner or later these problems are going to become more and more impossible to solve. And of course, you might view that as pessimistic, but I mean, carbon net zero carbon by 2050, that goal established is unfortunately not close to being on track as of now. And yes, we have 20 years, but in 20 years' time, the goal of keeping global temperature and global warming lower than 1.5 degrees Celsius or 2 degrees Celsius, that's going to be out of the window. And as you said, water, access, electricity, internet, the digital divide. I mean, there's so many issues that I mean, my everyone's brain can't comprehend the amount of different perspectives and issues that there are in the world. It's more of choose something, and this goes out to everyone. What I did was I chose something that I felt I could make a genuine impact on. I could genuinely change the global awareness on the SDGs and make it larger, make more people understand what the SDGs are. And with an organization of 2,000 people, that yes, that might be a lot in over 60 countries. But in reality, the impact that we're making is real because yes, there are millions, if not billions, of other people who would love to do the same thing. But even that collection of 1 to 2,000 people in our organization to work for the SDGs is something that's so significant because if everyone, even with another one person, two people, three people, work on collaboration, so important again, but if they work on something that they're truly passionate about, whether it be cleaning up their local community beach or whether it be um, focusing on including this part in the education, including more diversity in the education system, whatever it may be, there's a plethora of ideas and perspectives that you can really push forward. If you are willing to really advocate for what you believe for, that is the key. I mean, that is, and I'm sorry if I'm straying away from the question, but I feel like the key is just understanding that you as a person always will have the possibility to make an impact. You will never be deemed useless because you're not useless. You're a human being just as every other person on this planet. And so you must take advantage of that. Take advantage of that you have your own beliefs, your own unique perspective, and push that perspective as much as you can to the world, to the people you love, to your friends, to your teachers, to your colleagues, to your work, to your bosses, anyone really. Just push your belief. Tell people your belief. If they disagree, great. That helps you refine your own perspective and also teach them a bit about where you're coming from. If they agree, that's even better. You get to work with those people and help as a community push something that you all agree should be done.
Mm, yeah, so good. Yes, so good and so true. And what a way to end our show. Because everything that you just said is so powerful. And
Yeah,
yeah, so it's a call to action, like let's
yeah,
just all do something, let's just all do something. Because if not us, then who? And if
yeah,
not now,
definitely.
then when? Right? Let's
Yeah,
do it. Let's do it together. Darren, holy cow, I can't wait to talk again. Thank you so
of
much for being
course.
on the show. Thank you for what
Thank you
you're
so
doing.
much for inviting me. Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. And if I can ever do anything for you, please let me know. And you let me know when you want to come back on, and I'll have you back on anytime. So thank you.
okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kim.
Yeah, you
Have a
bet.
great day.
Yeah, thank you everybody for being with us today. There might be people that that you're going, man, it'd be so cool for them to hear Darren and follow his organization, become a part of the organization, do whatever, then do it and pass
Yeah,
this on to people and whatever. And
yeah.
Darren's awesome, so follow him and thank
And
you. Yeah,
if I could just say something, I mean, I always be glad to hear people's opinions, ideas. Just as I've been saying this entire show. If you ever want to reach out to me, my email is just my first name, so Derin at sdgyouthconnect.org. Just please feel free to email me, if possible. And I don't want it to be like a shameless plug, but if you're able to ever contribute or join our organization, contribute to our organization, that'd be amazing. Again, the website just sdgsconnect.org. We'd love to hear your ideas, your beliefs, what you think we can change or add to our organization, as we're always available and open to that. So thank you so much again, Kim, for having me.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Thank you everybody. And until we see each other again, I just pray that you keep your heart open and you live your love loud. There we go. Darren, man, that was fun.